Tonight on Elon Local News.
December means more than just the holiday season. How to be sure the only lights you're seeing this year are on your tree and not in your rearview mirror.
He just saw a need and made a response. And I think in many ways, that's the kind of person he was.
The first black student to graduate from Elon shares his memories of a lifelong friend.
And how one Christmas tradition might be a little different this year.
All that and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Pascal.
And I'm Perry Eliedrani. We begin tonight with some news on the North Carolina gubernatorial race that has been too close to call since Election Day, more than 3 weeks ago.
I personally believe that the majority of our citizens have spoken, and we now should do everything we can to support the 75th governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper. The McCrory administration team will assist in every way to help the new administration make a smooth transition.
Republican incumbent Governor Pat McCrory conceded earlier this afternoon to Democratic candidate Roy Cooper. On election night, the race was named too close to call, and the recount began. According to the State Board of Elections, prior to McCrory's concession, unofficial results had Cooper ahead by more than 10,000 votes. Following the concession, Cooper tweeted a statement thanking McCrory for his service and previewing his upcoming term. Cooper tweeted, quote, "I'm proud to receive the support from so many who believe that we can come together to make a North Carolina that works for everyone." Cooper formerly served in state senate and is the current attorney general.
December brings more holidays, but it also brings an increase in drunk driving related deaths. With more on this, Andrew Feather is live in the studio. Andrew?
Thanks, Jackie. December is Drunk Driving Awareness Month. According to the U.S. National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, 40% of traffic-related deaths during Christmas and New Year's involve drunk drivers. The month of December in general sees a 12% increase in drunk driving-related accidents. I talked with Town of Elon Police about the ramifications of driving while intoxicated and what they're doing to prevent it.
It's very dangerous. It could be a life-altering event.
Impaired driving is a problem across the United States. According to a 2010 survey by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, more than 13% of Americans admitted to driving while impaired, including nearly 20% of people aged 16 to 25. Alcohol is also one of the leading causes of traffic-related deaths. A release from the North Carolina Department of Transportation showed that about a third of all traffic-related deaths in the state involved alcohol. And according to Officer Brewer, it's important to look forward to the impact one decision can make before you're looking backwards at flashing lights in your rearview mirror.
A couple could change your life. It's happened before. It's happened here in Elon, and it's happened all across the nation. One drink can alter your mental and physical faculties.
And getting a DWI can have a hefty cost.
Your insurance going up at least 300%. You're looking at losing your license, your livelihood possibly, because if you can't drive, you can't work. There's all kinds of things that come into play there when you take that risk of drinking and driving.
For students, punishment can stretch beyond just legal ramifications.
We do have a fine, a disciplinary status of suspension in abeyance, and then restitution hours.
Students who are found responsible by the Office of Student Conduct for driving while impaired lose the right to study abroad or hold leadership positions on campus for a year. With the holiday season coming up, Brewer says the Town of Elon Police and law enforcement agencies across the state will be keeping an extra eye out for impaired drivers.
We're stepping up our enforcement, and we're having multiple checking stations throughout the counties and throughout the state, and we're going to be out there looking for those drivers because it is a serious offense.
Brewer said that so far this year, the Town of Elon Police Department has issued 29 DWI charges, and he's expecting that number to go up during the holidays. Be safe this holiday season. You don't want to start off the new year in court. I'm Andrew Feather. Perry, back to you.
Thank you, Andrew. Also this December, we remember the day that will live on in infamy. Wednesday is the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. On December 7th, 1941, Japanese warplanes destroyed almost 200 aircraft and killed more than 2,000 people. Although there are a few remaining survivors today, their stories will live on through their families. Political science professor Laura Roselle's great-uncle Eddie was on one of the ships the day and continues to tell his story.
remembered it so many years later. I always, remembered that, just that it came out of nowhere. And what struck me as sort of a kid when I was listening to the story was that he said they were so unprepared and they didn't know what to do, and all they wanted to do was fight back, and they were throwing anything they could at the Japanese planes coming in, including potatoes. And so he remembered, throwing potatoes at these Japanese planes as they came in over Pearl Harbor.
A female Elon student was transported to the hospital but is now home after an incident on North Williamson last night. Officers responded to a call around 6 p.m. after a student's foot was run over by a car. The student was treated and sent home, and her injuries are not serious.
Some sad news for the Elon community. English department program assistant Pamela Moffett died suddenly last week. According to an email from Elon English chair Jean Schwind, Moffett had only been at Elon since August but had already impacted the community by organizing various events and maintaining budgets.
The Elon community is still mourning the death of President Emeritus James Earl Dannelly 6 days later. Almost 400 people attended his funeral service over the weekend in Alumni Gym. Multiple members of the Elon community, including University President Leo Lambert, shared their stories of Dannelly and his legacy that will certainly live on.
Dannelly is known for bringing about multiple firsts for the university. For example, he's responsible for making the first big step toward diversity and inclusiveness at Elon. Brooke Wivag has more on Dannelly's relationship with the first black student to graduate from Elon.
I was never made to feel that I was a part of Elon, that I was a part of the student body, that I mattered.
When Eugene Perry became the first black graduate of Elon College in 1969, there were many who weren't open to the idea of an integrated school.
Dr. Dannelly was a unique kind of person. He was warm, sympathetic, empathetic. He was just caring.
Perry said that while being a minority student at Elon was a struggle at times, Dr. Earl Dannelly was the bright spot. In 1963, during his time as president, Dannelly decided to integrate Elon without consulting the Board of Trustees, paving the way for Perry to come to the school.
He just saw a need and made a response. And I think in many ways, that's the kind of person he was.
Now, nearly 50 years later, Perry has mixed feelings when he visits campus.
The pain endured by the emotions cannot be erased. That's just a part of my life.
But among the emotional scars, he remembers Dannelly with the same warmth that so many have expressed over the last several days.
Never made me feel that I had to do anything to earn his friendship or to earn his respect.
Brooke Wivag, Elon Local News.
Today, 20% of Elon's class of 2020 is made up of students of color.
Almost a month later, and people are still talking about the results of the election. Megan Gittleman has more on the aftermath.
The sense of loss that happened after 9/11, when people could just burst into tears on the streets for the weeks after that, and that would be okay, and other people would go and comfort them even though you were complete strangers.
The mood across campus since last month's election has been somber, the reactions mixed, and the emotions high. President of Spectrum, Elon's Queer Straight Alliance, Monique Swirsky, has been a victim and witness of discrimination since the election.
That you're gonna go burn in hell, and this is what you get.
While some students are happy with the election's result, not all feel they can openly celebrate Trump's victory.
I felt like I had to hold myself back because of that, because of the outpouring of grief and sorrow.
Member of College Republicans and Elon Political Forum, Michael Cather says he feels judged for his political beliefs.
I've gotten, you're too smart to be voting for him.
Elon sociology professor Robin Gary says people's concerns about the president-elect are valid.
This man has never held a government office, ever.
Gary says that many people voted for Trump because they wanted to believe his promises to make America great again.
Manifest in latent functions, right? It's the thing. Yeah, it sounds good on the surface. When you start looking at all the things and all the different people who are going to be affected in negative ways, including people who supported him, better be afraid.
While coping with election-related stress, Director of Counseling Services Marie Shaw urges students to prioritize their self-care and step away from politics.
And, sometimes if need be, turning off, media, if they're getting, too much.
Many students are optimistic that once Trump officially takes office in January, our country will become less divided.
Where my hope is that I have seen a lot of people come together since the election to say that this racism, sexism, bigotry, this is not okay. This is not normal.
Megan Gettleman, Elon Local News.
If you would like to make an appointment with the health center, you can call 336-278-7280. Counseling services is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
After the break, more on health services at Elon. Problems university health centers are facing around the country, including here at Elon.
And what you can do to make sure your heating system is ready for the long winter ahead.
May be looking for some mental health resources, but Elon's counseling services might not be as accessible as you think. Grace Morris has more.
With more and more students seeking out counseling services, wait times have risen at universities across the country.
I know some universities have sometimes a month to 2 month wait list, or even after they're initially triaged, it could be a wait longer than that.
However, Elon Counseling Services tries to get students in within a week.
Elon is no different than any other university. There's a significant demand for services. I will say what we do really well here is getting students in for the first appointment in a timely manner.
But sometimes a week isn't soon enough.
If a student says, I cannot wait, a full get in, we do a brief
Sorry for the technical difficulties, but as the weather is getting colder and the nights get longer, Elon Health Services could see an increase in students with depression, along with snow and cold winters, also known to bring about seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. According to the Mayo Clinic, the disorder is a type of depression related to the changing of seasons that can result in low energy, feelings of worthlessness, and changes in weight and appetite.
Now, if you find that the colder weather is getting you down, you can make an appointment with counseling services. Some other tips: you can go to the gym for a good workout. I know it's hard. You may not want to get out of your warm bed, but you'll be glad you win, I promise. You can also try decorating your room in light colors and plants to help beat the winter blues. There are also some special kind of lights you can get that have worked pretty well.
Who have needed more help in terms of...
Well, we are looking at some doomy, gloomy weather. Sunday especially was crazy
Oh my
rainy.
gosh, it was so cold and rainy. I was definitely feeling that seasonal blues. But we have Jasmine Hager here, so maybe she can give some good news about what's coming up this week. Jasmine, what's the week looking like?
Thanks, guys. It was really nice today, surprisingly, with that really sunny sky today. But unfortunately, for the rest of the week, it's going to remain really cold. For tomorrow, let's take a look at your Phoenix 5-day forecast. For Tuesday, expect some heavy rain. It's going to be a high of 47 with a low of 38. On Wednesday, it'll be sunny with a high of 58 and a low of 41. On Thursday, it'll be cloudy and rainy, 40% chance of rain with a high of 55 and a low of 25. On Friday, it'll be sunny but really cold with a high of 42 and a low of 21. And on Saturday, there'll be partly cloudy skies with a high of 44 and a low of 24. Jackie and Perry, back to you.
Thanks, Jasmine. So yes, it does look like the winter weather is officially here to stay. And if you haven't turned on your heat yet, it might be time. But you should be careful before turning on your heat for the first time this season. Over Thanksgiving break, a heating unit in Oasis Apartments malfunctioned, causing a fire. No one was injured and the fire was quickly put out. But how do you prevent this from happening to you? The Assistant Director for Facilities and Housing Operations says the best preventative measure to take is being familiar with your heating unit.
If it's a stand-in unit or a standard unit built into a space, the first thing you can do is kind of check with your landlord or your property management company to ensure that the inspections have been up to code. Ask them for any detailed information they can give you on operating the unit if you don't understand how to do that.
Prevention and Public Education Captain Jacob Flint reminds residents of the dangers of extension cords and candles. He also tells students if you turn on your heating unit and see a little smoke, not to panic.
Mainly this time of year when people are turning them on for the first time, dust buildup will actually get into the heating elements, and it'll cause a little bit of smoke and smell like something serious is going on. But more times than not, if you just let it run for about 5 minutes, it'll clear up.
Captain Flint also reminds students living off campus to be sure their filters are changed in the heating units to prevent fires over these cold winter months.
Coming up, a change to coming to one Elon dining hall this winter.
And how Christmas trees could soon be a thing of the past.
Well, not many schools have a winter term like Elon does, and while it's great for students just looking for that one extra class, for dining hall workers it means less hours. Alex Safori has more on how winter term affects dining hall employees.
If you walk around campus during January term or J term, you'll notice less students out and about. As a result, McEwen Dining Hall is usually closed for the month of January.
Typically, J term is an anomaly in our school, and where a lot of students go and study abroad as well. So our demand is close to 25 to 30% less as far as meal plan counts are concerned.
But the decrease in students on campus has proven to be a problem for dining hall employees.
Our long-term employees obviously work, who have been here for a while, and the other employees either take off or get supported by the other job or take unemployment.
Those who choose to work elsewhere don't have to look too far.
Around Burlington, a lot of fast food places. There's some work at the Alamance School District, some work at McDonald's, Taco Bell, Olive Garden. So a lot of restaurant retail around.
But this year, those second jobs might not be needed.
There are more students on All Access Basic, so they don't have access to retail. They do, but not as a part of their meal plan. They have some declining balance food dollars. And so the need is an All Access Basic. It's an All Access meal plan, and that McEwen suffices.
For the first time ever, McEwen Dining Hall will be open with normal hours over J term after an increased demand. Alex Ofori, Elon Local News.
Construction on McEwen Dining Hall was originally expected to begin this year, but was delayed because of funding. According to VIG, there still isn't a start date on construction, but it should begin in 2017.
We're getting into the season of giving. If you're feeling the holiday spirit, you can stop by Mosley this week to donate to Family Abuse Services, an organization committed to providing support to victims of domestic violence. They're asking for gifts or monetary donations to help give children gifts for the holiday season. Suggested items to donate are clothes, school supplies, and toys. If you would like to donate, there'll be a table in Mosley all week.
So are you ready for the holidays? Because Liam Collins took a look at the story behind an Alamance County Christmas tree farm. Take a look.
Christmas trees come in all different sizes, but they all serve the same purpose, to bring the holiday spirit. And if you're looking for something to do this week, Santa's Tree Garden right down the street from Alamance Crossing in Burlington is only a 9-minute drive from campus. Co-owner William Alvis says while they are in peak Christmas tree season, the season doesn't usually last up to Christmas.
A lot of our bigger trees, they go early in the season because you spend that much money on a tree, and that size tree, you like to get it up early and look at it for a long time. But the first 2 or 3 weekends is the big one, and like I said, we're expecting this weekend to be pretty heavy with traffic, but it does decline towards Christmas.
And if you are looking for that special Christmas tree to deck the halls, Santa's Tree Garden likes to leave that up to the trees.
There are so many different trees, different looks, different shapes and all that. But like I say, the customer really doesn't pick the tree picks the customer.
And while these trees made it all the way to Burlington, wildfires and droughts across western North Carolina drove down supply, which means less trees at higher prices.
A lot of the premium trees are gone. We've tried to make a couple of contacts and basically been told that all the premium trees are out, so we can't even get our hands on them. So what we have this year basically is what they refer to as a field natural. So we lost a little quality with the fires.
But co-owner Alex Fogelman says that those natural disasters will make for even more issues next holiday season.
We lost a lot of acres to fires, and then if we don't get some rain over the winter or snow, in that case in the mountains, we're going to have a lot more problems later on.
So be sure to get your Christmas trees while they last. Liam Collins, Elon Local News.
While wildfires have produced problems for Christmas trees, they have also kept the firefighters busy. These wildfires have plagued the western part of the state since late October.
According to the U.S. Forest Service, thousands of acres of land in western North Carolina and Tennessee have been destroyed. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory says these wildfires have caused more than $12 million worth of damage statewide.
Last week's rain and the rain expected this week will hopefully help firefighters get these wildfires out for good. Well, we'll see how that turns out. Well, former Elon physical plant employee Frank Clapp was given the surprise of his life. Clapp was diagnosed with a brain tumor over the summer after suffering a seizure at work. The Fat Frog held a concert and fundraiser last night to help pay for Clapp's medical bills. His friends at physical plant raffled off hours of lawn mowing and other lawn work to raise money for their friend. And while the raffle is over, there's still a GoFundMe page for Clapp and his family. The Oak House and Physical Plant are still accepting donations. You can simply sign an envelope, Frank Clapp, and hand it off. They'll make sure it gets where it needs to go. And I was there last night, and it was just a really cool event because you could tell these people, they've already donated to their friend, they've already helped them out, monetarily how they could. So they started writing down on certificates, I'll dedicate 8 hours of my time to go mow someone's lawn, and then they raffled that off for their friend. And so it's amazing. He couldn't believe how these people were coming together for him.
Yeah, that sounds really great. A nice community effort and all those friends coming together. It must have felt really good as well as helping him with his medical bills.
I mean, talk about like the Christmas spirit. I mean, that money is going towards, he's able to get Christmas presents now for his kids.
That's so sweet.
He's able to, pay medical bills. It was really sweet. So after the break, we're looking at a perfect place to help you de-stress and hang out.
The last few weeks of the semester can be stressful, but with the state filled with both beaches and mountains, I know it wouldn't be too hard to find some outdoor fun. Take a look.
This may look like just a walk in the park, but Hanging Rock State Park is so much more. A little more than an hour drive from campus, just 30 miles north of Winston-Salem, you'll find campsites, a lake, and 20 miles of hiking trails. Its most popular site and most photogenic is the Hanging Rock itself, but it's the visitors who do the hanging. Just in the past 48 hours, this shot has been Instagrammed more than 50 times.
This Instagram might seem impressive until you get the full picture.
The rock below the ledge takes the danger out of the equation, but it still makes a great picture. To get up to this peak, which is about 2,500 feet up, it's about a 45-minute hike. And to get up on the rock, well, it takes some muscle.
For the Instagram,
Besides the final picture, the hike is worth it for the view and the calming silence.
It was a very fun package to film. You got to see a little bit of my struggle to get up on the rock.
Well,
it's a lot harder than it looks.
I happen to follow you on social media, as should everyone. And
Jackie_passport.
I was terrified because we didn't see that ledge right below her.
It's very deceiving. When you don't see the ledge right below, my mom was about to have a panic attack over it. Absolutely.
You don't see a harness.
I know. People were like, you're not strapped in or anything. It's a really cool place. And it was a nice stress reliever, I will say. That's the main point of that place.
Well, that's all the news we have for you today, but we will be back for our last show in the studio this semester on Thursday for ELN Morning. That's at 9:50.
And there'll also be a new edition of The Pendulum on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.